All right, everyone. So welcome to our measurements lesson. So within this lesson, we want to teach you a little bit more about measurements, building from the photography module lesson on measurements and how to implement those measurement photos that you should have already taken into the description, which is where you want to add it for a second time. As mentioned, some buyers will look at the photos, some will look at the description. It's rare that people look at both. So that's why. Now, why do accurate measurements matter? Again, this is a lot of overlap between the last lesson, but we want to reiterate it because it is very important and it is a way that you can stand out. A lot of other sellers, rather, will not use measurements, and it is an easy way for you to stand out. So make sure that you pay attention to these lessons and implement measurements into your listing. So first of all, why do they matter again? Variability. So clothing sizes differ across brands, regions, and eras. So measurements help clarify this. For example, this vintage Carhartt hoodie that I'm wearing, it is a size medium. However, I'm normally a size medium. It's pretty loose because, oh, why could that be? Because Carhartt is an American brand. American size medium is about a UK size large. So that's why. So this helps clarify, as I said, regions, eras. It helps clarify with the buyer and helps them make, again, an informed decision, and that reduces returns and makes sure that you have happy buyers, leading to repeat purchases, all of that good stuff, as we keep on mentioning. As you can see, a lot of the knowledge that you're gaining from this course is intertwining with other bits of knowledge. It's all about culminating a full reselling brain is what I would like to call it. Again, buyer confidence. So detailed measurements allow informed decisions and ensure satisfaction. I feel that's pretty self-explanatory in the sense that, buyers will be more confident about you. The more detail that you have, the more confident that they'll be that you're proficient in your trade, you're proficient as a reseller, you're proficient at providing the buyer with all of the information that they need. And again, that will lead to fewer returns. And no one likes returns. The buyer doesn't like returns and the seller doesn't like returns. Now, what are some techniques for accurate measurement? Use flat lay measurements or mannequins for consistency. So what I mean by that is on the ground, you have the item and make sure that you're measuring from the same point at each item. Make sure pit to pit is measured from the same item. That's a standardized way of measuring items. For example, when you take the top to bottom item measurement, make sure that you're doing it from the top, at the bottom of the collar. Or if you take it from the hood, make sure that it's the same every time and make sure you can explain that to the buyer so they can differentiate. Also, clarity, explain how and why the measurements and where the measurements were taken as well. Again, like I mentioned, from which part to which part. You can explain that to buyers if they ask, and always have set answers. And again, we will go through this in the buyer FAQ section, which will be coming up next. So non-clothing items do still need to be measured to some extent. Now, again, like I said, this course is very much clothing based. However, just giving you a little bit of tips. So if you want to branch out a little bit out of clothing, so furniture and decor, dimensions are essential. So make sure that you take the width, length, height, all of those dimensions. The more measurements, the better. And make sure that you explain, like I said in the description, how and where these measurements were taken. Electronics, size and specifications. So TVs, laptops, for example, 45-inch screen, or a laptop might be, MacBook Air 13.3 inches, for example. Make sure that you specify that because people only want a specific size, especially for when it comes to technology. So tools and equipment, make sure the measurements of tools and different equipment ensure that the functionality and they fit in existing setups, specifically for sofas, or for example, if you're selling a lawnmower on eBay, that's still reselling technically. I mean, there's a lot of people that resell lawnmowers and things like that. Some people only want specific dimensions of what they can fit in their setup. If it doesn't fit in their shed, they're just going to return it, right? So these are other ways that you can apply measurements to non-clothing items. In conclusion, accurate measurements, they really are the cornerstone of successful online reselling. What I mean by that is that if measurements are done correctly, not only will you stand out because many sellers don't put measurements in, it will also make sure that the buyer is happier with you and will reduce returns. It's just amazing. And it only takes about a minute extra per item. That minute will pay dividends in terms of higher sell-through rate and reduce returns as well. Buyers will get what they expect, reduce returns, and this will foster trust, leading to repeat purchases. Again, saying the same things over and over again, but it is true, guys. So make sure that they're all precise, improve the buyer experience for them, and this will boost your seller reputation. Now, in the next lesson, we'll be talking about item conditions. So item conditions are very, very important. So we will see you in the next lesson to talk briefly about item conditions.